We're continuing now with the Companion Bible, the one written by E.W. Bullinger, which is, of course, very large, very thick, and very full of information. One thing that's also interesting about this Bible is that sometimes, for example, he'll have above a word or to the left of a word a little zero. Now, what that zero means is that same idea or same word or same event took place in a verse before the zero. And you will see that quite often in here, so that you know if you look at the previous verse, you will find something the same. For example, in verse 7, and God made the firmament. There's a zero beside firmament. Go to the previous verse 6, and it says, and God said, let that be a firmament. Okay? And so on and so forth. And that's the infirmament. Then otherwise, it'll have a zero in front of things like that. Also, it'll have a number 1 in front of a certain word, meaning that particular word is the number 1, meaning not a side note or a note, but number 1 meaning it is one of the most important parts of what it's going to talk about. Now, for example, this number 1, of course, is right in front of the word God. And when you come to that, and God said, let there be light. And there was light. And then there's another one. And God, there's another one, saw the light that it was good, and so forth. And then, and God called, and so on. And then God said, let there be a firmament. And God made the firmament, and God called the firmament, and so on. And there's a number 1 in front of each of those verses where the name God is. Now let's just turn to the next page and see if it continues. Yes, it does. It has that all through. So now let's go to number 1, where it says God, and I'll, in fact, what you'll see when I lift this up to show you again is, of course, on the left-hand side of the page, there will be the actual text, but then on the right-hand side and down below are all the notes. So let's take a quick look at that so you can see what we've talked about so far. Now, let's get into the section with the 1 on it that says God, and I'll read you a little bit so you have an idea what Bullinger does with just that one word here, because this is quite interesting. And it says, the world that then was, 2 Peter, and so on, see Scripture, creation in eternity past, to which all fossils and remains belong. God, Hebrew, plural, first occurrence, connects it with the creation and denotes by images or usage the Creator in the relationship to his creations. It says see app 4. Now there's the section where you can go to one of the apps and find out more. Then it says the Hebrew assent, and it gives the Hebrew word, places the emphasis and gives pause on God as being himself the great worker, separated the worker from his work. Okay? Now, we can go further down through all of those things about God that went through those verses. But we will next go to the app to show you how important that is. We will be back momentarily.